Hi everybody, it's Aggie, another Thursday. If you are thinking, gosh, she looks tired, it's because I am tired. I'm recording it on Wednesday at 9 a.m. UK time and I have just had a marathon of work, but that's kind of a side note. So today I wanted to talk to you about a few things that cropped up over the past month and a half of interpreting. I wanted to tell you about my personal beliefs and convictions when it comes to certain, let's call them sticky points of interpreting. So let's get into these. Every now and again, a professional will say to me, I'm just speaking to you, the interpreter. What do you think? Are they telling the truth? I am thinking that probably for some of you, or for most of you, this situation had happened. Now, ask yourself, what should you do? Should you say, yes, I believe that they are telling the truth, or no, I think they don't look trustworthy, they don't appear like they're telling the truth? Which one do you think it is? So for me, it's a resounding no. You must never give your opinions and your impressions about a speaker, because that goes exactly against the grain of the rule of being independent. We cannot give that person extra chances by saying, they look legit, they're telling the truth, sure. But you also mustn't hamper them or jeopardize their chances by saying, yeah, no, they're lying, this is all made up, because again, we're not being transparent and independent. Just like Dr. Phil Muriel says, we do not have the ownership of the conversation, we do not have the ownership of what's being said, we are there just to interpret. We cannot pass any judgment as to whether we believe that the person is being truthful or not. Another situation that happened, and it was actually quite surreal, this was a telephone interpreting assignment, by the way. Someone didn't understand what email was. So I come from Poland, and it's fair to say that all those technical novelties and all that technological development would come to Poland with some delay. But I really struggle to remember the times before email. If you think about it, it's really difficult to explain the concept of an email without getting into more complex concepts such as the internet, software, email client, phone, smartphone. Yes, there are people out there who don't use smartphones. I actually managed to explain it. It really trumped me at the first moment, because I was like, well, it's an email. Everybody knows what an email is. I thought this was quite an interesting situation because it tests not only your ability to interpret, but also your ability to relate to people who come from different backgrounds, who perhaps didn't have that much exposure to technology as you have or I have, people who come from different educational backgrounds. So it's kind of worth remembering that we are always talking to a person, and more importantly, that the person may not share the same knowledge of the world. Another interesting thing that happened was I published my video about failing. There was a very interesting response. One of the members of the ProZ Facebook community, I do recommend it, by the way, it's a great community, said something about making mistakes and appearing small as an interpreter. I believe what they were trying to say was that as interpreters we shouldn't own up to mistakes and that we shouldn't try and lessen ourselves. I don't know about you, but I do make mistakes sometimes, especially if I have been going on and on and on for a couple of hours. It's always worth remembering for me that if you make a mistake, you do not go, oh, nothing happened. You always own up to your mistake and you always correct yourself. This is extremely important. There is a very famous case actually from the UK where a trial, what we call collapsed, due to an interpreter's error who replaced the word beaten with the word bitten, just one vowel, but obviously changes the meaning. They never owned up to the mistake. Afterwards they said that they knew that they made a mistake, but they didn't say anything. And because of that, obviously the category of the offence was different. This cost the taxpayer £25,000 to do a retrial. If you make a mistake, and usually you realise only afterwards, it could be something to do with the fact that you misheard a word, very common, especially if you're on a remote call. Then you basically realise, that's what they meant. So good practice in this situation is to say, the interpreter made a mistake, apologies, what they said was this, but what actually they should have said was that. It's always well received, and nobody has ever blamed me or went, "Oh, this interpreter's rubbish. They're making mistakes. How dare they?" Whoa. People understand that we all make mistakes. I have seen barristers, I've seen judges make mistakes, right? And it happens all the time because interpreting is a very stressful job. There's always an element of the unknown, of the unpredictable. We can't always prepare, we can't always be briefed, and these things will happen. And the only thing that you can do, if you realize, especially if it's something very crucial to the case, is to own up to it and say, apologies, made a mistake. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. If something interesting happened to you, obviously be mindful of the need to be confidential. I'm not mentioning any names, obviously. I'm not mentioning any genders. It's all very, very super general. I am very, very careful not to breach confidentiality. But if you want to share about something that happened to you, that was interesting, that was funny, that was unexpected, let me know in the comments. I can always be found on Facebook. I am a member of a number of interpreting translation groups, so you can always catch me there. Please let me know. I always love to have a discussion, and I always love to learn from other people and learn from your experience and your points of view. So thank you so much again. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and I'll see you next week on Thursday.